Some they call it functional alcoholism, but if you know anything about Ben, he's got vision with precision, microphones and a tinkle of derision. You're about to hear what beer can be. It's time for Barley and Me.
Welcome to Barley and Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. This is episode 171. We're here today in Sacramento, California at Touchstone Brewing. With me today, our special guest.
Hi, I'm Jess Lemos, and I am a community educator with Weave, and I'm here to be able to talk about some programming and being here at Touchstone Brewery.
And with us from Touchstone.
I am Ryan. I'm the brewmaster at Touchstone Brewing Company, and a little side hustle, I'm the president of the Sacramento Area Brewers Guild.
Brag.
Just, these things are about community, and that's my big tie to the Sacramento community. It's something I put a little time and effort into, and I think it's important to occasionally step out of your brewery, which can be very difficult, but if it brings us a little closer together, if it brings the whole brewing community in Sacramento up a little bit, whatever we can do to help, we want to do it.
Yeah, and you also do other things besides this.
Yes. I have 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
I rock climb when there's free time, which is a little seldom lately, but I ride and occasionally race motorcycles, snowboard, skateboard, whatever, all the fun things.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're also in some way adjacent to a neighboring business. Is that correct or incorrect?
Oh, of course, yeah. Touchstone Brewing Company. The name came from Touchstone Climbing. Touchstone Climbing is a rock climbing company. We own 13 rock climbing gyms throughout California. The one here in Sacramento named Pipeworks, very popular place for Sacramentoans. Is that the word?
Sacramentans.
Sacramentans?
If you're the president of a guild, you should know the proper way.
I've lived here for years, and I didn't know that's what it is.
I'm not from Sacramento. I've only lived here for 7-8 years.
Oh.
Where are you from originally?
Originally Baltimore.
Okay.
But I've been in California for a very long time now. I moved to California when I was 16.
Okay.
And I'm old now, so it's been a long time.
Okay, because I moved here when I was 24, 25. For college, and I was from Southern California originally, and I'm like, this is not California that I know.
Yeah. Sacramentans?
Sacramentans.
I don't
not
like
the
it.
Sacraments?
The Sacramentos?
Yeah.
The fresh maker?
Yeah. I wish.
The Sacramentians?
Yeah.
Sacramentians.
Yeah.
I love Sacramentians as a way to say it.
Yeah, that feels right.
It feels better.
Sacrametians?
Yeah. Sacramentan women.
You said we could go down tangents.
No, I'm just going to let it go. I also like to, what do I like to do? Michiganders and Michigese is what I like to call.
Yeah. Are you from Michigan?
No, but I have friends from Michigan.
Okay.
And so there's Michiganders and there's Michigese. So bird joke for anybody listening. Use it with your friends. Also, fun fact for Michiganders, if you tell them to go back to Wisconsin, they will get very upset.
Nice.
The worst thing you could do is say that they're from Wisconsin.
I think the same goes with Minnesota and Wisconsin. I think that fits too.
Because
they're the same place.
Yeah. No, they're identical areas.
They're all the same. They all have the same cuisines, the same culture. They all wear the same
basic
flannels.
shape. They're all like gloves.
Cheese curds, lagers, and poutine.
Yeah. Steal from the Canadians.
Right.
Wisconsin actually has the highest per capita amount of drunk counties in its state compared to every other state.
What does that mean, drunk counties?
Counties that record DUIs, public drunk indecencies.
Okay, so per capita, the most people get pulled
they're
over.
the drunkest state.
Yeah, not a big deal. When I was growing up, I came from the binge drinking capital of the U.S. North Dakota.
Santa Barbara?
North Dakota.
I'm like, Santa Barbara, that place is too chill.
Sorry, it was binge drinking high schoolers. High schoolers.
Oh.
I had multiple classmates with multiple DUIs before we graduated.
Oh my gosh.
Good for you. That's a party place.
My class was
North
32
Dakota.
people. I had 4 people with multiple DUIs.
Oh, man. It's probably harder in a small town because you're the only car on the road and you're driving drunk.
Yeah,
So-
and you're not a good driver.
It's like, what did you hit? Just a deer?
Swerving and throwing a can out the window. It's like, come on, Justin, you can't. He's like, why'd you pull me over? Like, well, first of all, it's you driving at night. We're just going to assume. But also, you threw a can out the window and you were swerving.
There you go.
Anyway, good fun. Don't go there. We haven't even gotten into my first question, Ryan.
That's okay.
It's a doozy.
Are we getting right into heated stuff?
Right into the heated stuff.
All right.
How's business here at Touchstone Brewing?
Well, we just started opening Wednesdays. It's a little slow on Wednesdays, but Thursdays you struggle to find a seat in here. Friday's getting to be the same. I assume most people around town, when it got cold and rainy, slowed down a
Yeah.
lot. It's starting to get nice out in the evening, despite it being pretty cold tonight. Once the sun stays out a little longer, and
Yep.
it's a little warmer. We've been busy. Every single tank is full in the brewery, and we move one over to Bright Tank, which is where it goes on its way to packaging, and we fill the fermenter the very next day. So
Nice.
we're currently running at capacity already, and nothing's sitting around long.
That's awesome. And you're also expanding.
Yeah, we're building a restaurant. That was in the original plans. We just had to, due to COVID, we had to kind of stop construction. Money got a little tight. But we're back to busy again, and we're fully invested and working hard every single day on the restaurant as well.
Yeah. Now, if I recall correctly, and it's been a long time since we've met, and I think we've had 2 conversations since, you had goals with this particular brewery as far as like what you wanted to serve here, given like, your background.
In the long run, customers dictate what you brew. But while we are starting to see a ton of people from all over the place, a good, healthy backbone of our customer base is folks coming out of that gym. And a bit of a generalization, but most of the very fitness-oriented people are not going to be drinking the higher ABV beers. Our West Coast and hazy IPAs run under 7%. So I think it's pretty normal.
Yeah,
there.
6.8 is like totally fine.
But a double IPA will sit here a lot longer than it should.
Yeah.
So I stopped brewing them for a while. I mean, they'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll bring them back, but we don't have the clientele for that. My 5% lager flies.
Yeah.
My 5% sour out the door as fast as I could brew it. While I personally like lower alcohol beers, I think our customer base so far has as well.
Yeah.
Granted, we have brewed a 10% Imperial Stout, and it also rocketed out the door. But
Nice.
the big, giant, hoppy beers weren't moving fast enough, and I don't ever want to have to dump a beer because it sat for too long.
Oh, yeah. That's the
I'm
worst.
not shy if it's not the right beer. If it doesn't come out right,
Yeah.
down it goes. But I don't want to brew something that sits and doesn't sell.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a shift in the general beer industry right now against like the bigger beers, or do you think?
A bunch of years ago, we were all seeing giant IPAs, hundreds
the
of
hop wars,
100 IBUs, and bitter to turn your face inside out. Back when Green Flash was a thing, they might still be a thing.
They are back.
Okay.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I went to college in San Diego, so back in the Arrogant Bastard days and such.
Pallet Record.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Then there came this term called the session beer. My first commercial brewery I worked for was called Strike Brewing Company in San Jose.
Okay.
Employee number 1, I helped build that place. We built the brewery and everything. And at the time, their entire marketing was revolved around session beers. So everything was under 6%. Times changed, things shifted. You got to make money. You got to brew
Find
what
your
people
market.
want.
Yep.
But the backbone of that whole brewery was session beers, and that was kind of the start of the conversation of lower alcohol beers, which, put it on the podcast, I don't care. Session IPAs, I can't stand them. I don't like them. There's no backbone to them. It's just a super hoppy water. Personally, put a little bit backbone on it and call it a dry hop pale ale. It's a little bit different of a beer, but I think it's a far superior beverage.
I mean, there are a lot of them that are, like watered down hoppy things. But they're, look, I'm just going to say it right now. Berryessa Mini Separation Anxiety is a cut above all other session IPAs.
To be fair, Berryessa, everything is a cut above.
That's also true.
They make fantastic beers. And
I almost
think,
got Chris to come on this podcast and COVID hit. Spent years just trying to get him on.
Yeah,
He's not a big public speaker.
I think all their beers are really, really good.
I'm like, do you want to go to the East Coast to get like Heidi Topper? You can just go get Double Tap. It's the exact same.
Yeah, and I stopped ordering session IPAs years ago, so I'm sure there are tons of options that are really good.
You're pretty much right. Session IPA. I like a classic beer that's designed to be low ABV being a low ABV beer.
Yeah, and I think a slightly above hoppy pale ale is a fantastic beer.
Yeah.
A little bit better backbone to it, a little more malt to it, and West Coast IPA hops.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
And I can have a few of them, enjoy a nice hoppy beer, and not have a crippling hangover the next day.
The dream.
I'm old now. Hangovers hurt.
They
I got
do.
2 little kids. To have a toddler screaming at you and a baby crying and you're hungover? No way. You'll only do that once.
No,
Yeah.
haven't done it yet. I'm scared. I'm like, don't want to do it.
Rightfully so.
It'll happen.
I know it's coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jess, could you tell us a little bit about Weave?
Yeah, so Weave is a local rape crisis center. Like, I know that this is going to sound like a downer compared to talking about IPAs, but Weave is the local Sacramento Rape Crisis Center. We were established back in 1978. And our whole thing is, our acronym for Weave stands for When Everyone Acts, Violence Ends. And what we really do is not just help survivors of sexual and domestic violence, human trafficking and stalking, but we also do a lot to try to help the community. And what that means is that, like for my job, I'm a community educator. So what can we do to help prevent violence from happening? Educating people on what is this violence? What can you do to have healthy relationships? What can you do if you're somebody who's in crisis and you need help? And we're the place, we're the people that we go out. I have my department. There are folks that are embedded in high schools, middle schools, colleges, like we're embedded in Sac State. And for me, I have the privilege of being able to help nightlife establishments. So bars, clubs, breweries, I'm there, and I really am there to help teach staff what are the warning signs of domestic and sexual violence that either may occur in your establishment, or what can you do to prevent that from happening. Because as I like to tell staff when I'm doing trainings, you all have personal responsibilities of like cutting somebody off when they've had too much to drink. But really, what are some of the other things that you can do to help keep your patrons safe? And what can you do for the reputation of your establishment to be a safer establishment, to want people to go there, have a good time, and not worry that there could be harm done to them? And that's really what I do with my programming called Safe Night Out. The program itself happened pre-COVID, but then when COVID hit, everybody, of course, shut down, and there was a resurgence when I got hired, and I primarily was the person hired to do this program. And so I've really just tried to take it and build it up from what it was, so this very grassroots movement, to something that can be very communal. Because when I'm trying to go into like clubs or bars or breweries, it's a very communal organization, very communal scene. Like even breweries, like the brewing community as a whole, like if you're somebody like Brian, for example, you're going to know 7-8 other breweries right off the bat that you can be like, oh yeah, I know these folks. And so I have to be like, hey, I'm trying to, be helping your staff, but how can I help your staff, other people that you know, and just trying as a community to change everything so that it's safer.
Yeah, and I know Ryan, you hosted a Weave event for the breweries in the area, in the guild. I think some bar staff also. And I was like, oh, we should just kind of revisit that on the podcast sometime, hence this pairing.
Yeah, sure. There was that was something we felt pretty strongly about, and it was a little bit coincidental that Jess's predecessor reached out to us, I think through the guild, and I was, this has been on my mind. Let's make it happen. So we hosted, I think it was a guild meeting, if memory serves, so a bunch of management and owners of breweries and brewers and such to hear the initial presentation. This is the training we offer. This is what we do. And then Sage with Bike Dog and I kind of pushed a little bit forward and set something up, sort of a guild-sponsored event at Bike Dog on Broadway. And we had a bunch of breweries and a bunch of various levels of staff come in and do the training. And we've supplied signage, stickers, business cards, and little refreshers, basically. You go through the training and you want to stay up on this, but also, not to defend anything, but a lot of brewery staff and taproom staff get really busy. And it's hard to keep an eye on things. And something like a little sticker on a mirror in a bathroom could make a world of difference for one person.
Yep.
And if it works one time, then it was worth the effort. And I think that having different resources and different outlets is something that every alcohol establishment should have. I try to say brewery because that's all the business I'm in, but there's no reason this shouldn't be everywhere.
Yeah.
Like you mentioning the stickers, that's actually something where I was hosting a training for volunteers coming into Weave to volunteer for our organization. And somebody literally asked me, they said, hey, those signs that are in bathrooms at like this bar that I went to, was that Weave? And I said, yeah, that's exactly it. People know those stickers, people know those signs. And I've had countless people come up to me already, and I mean, I've only been doing this 6 months, but there are people that have said, I want to go to that place because I feel safer.
Yeah, and I think those stickers are great because you put them in the bathroom, the place that you would go to clear your head or get your space where you know this person that's bothering you probably won't follow you. And you're like, oh, there's a solution on the mirror. There's a solution on the wall. Mm-hmm. And like, that's like, you know, that it's like, oh, if you're having this problem, go talk to this person at the bar and they'll do with this thing. And yeah, it's incredibly helpful. And
to just know that someone in that business has your back.
Yeah.
You know, we have the Weave poster at our bar, and people are bringing it up all the time. Oh my God, that's so awesome that you have this here. And you know, once we get this restaurant done, everyone will be trained in Safe Night Out, and it's super important. And we can't all forget this is free. Weave does this for us for free.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, aside from it being an amazing thing, what would stop you from doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's hard to get staff together sometimes, and you know, folks in the service industry very much value their time off, and it's hard to do, but I feel like there's a very, very high percentage of bartenders, of servers, of wait staff, of bussers that would appreciate this training.
Yeah, just the knowledge of how to approach it. And like, it's not cookie cutter, like one size fits all. It's very much like, if this, then this, if this, then this. If you don't feel comfortable with this, then maybe try this. Like it's not just like you do this thing. It's very communal and very much like, you know, handle what you can handle. But if you need to bring in backup, bring in somebody else or whatever the case may be.
Well, and something that is also really important about this programming too is that a lot of times when we hear how to prevent sexual violence, it's very much aimed at somebody that could be the victim or a survivor of sexual or domestic violence. It's make sure that you have a buddy, make sure that you walk with your keys between your hands, make sure that you cover your drink with your hand, and all these things. But really, it's what can you do that's more reactive and active than having somebody try to help with the situation after the fact. We want to prevent violence and be preventative before we have to try to, you know, my goal is people don't have to call our safety number, that people are going to be able to have safety before they would even need to call us. And like Ryan was saying, you know, it's a free program, and one of the things that I've really tried to do to change the program is offering multiple sessions within like the Brewers Guild or Midtown Association. So that way, if you couldn't make it to one training, I've got 7 others throughout the year. And I really make it where you have 5 staff. Well, each single person could go to a separate training. So that way they get trained, but then you don't have to have your entire staff come in on one day. They could just spend their hour and a half and then they're trained. Yeah.
And you could just go to another one like, now that I've seen it, I've heard it, I put it in practice, I feel like I need a little refresher. I might have missed something or have questions about how to interact this a little bit better, or not interact, whatever the word is where you do something in action. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Put it
intervene.
Intervene.
That's so much. Yeah, exactly.
We call it active bystanding. Being an active bystander is that intervention. So for staff, like I gave the example of you would cut somebody off if they had too much to drink. That's an example of being an active bystander. You're noticing a situation, you're putting personal responsibility on yourself, and then you're deciding what to do and then act on that. And for this, and I always break down like, okay, so you see people, for example, and they're walking into the place, and then when they leave, one person has had much more drink than the other person. That seems very much like, oh, well, that person's a light when the other person isn't. And I really try to explain, like, you may think that, but, you know, what if it isn't? What if that person purposely got more drunk? Yeah. And, you know, trying to really have more of that discerning look and being able to really see like, okay, I see these people, I see them interacting. Does this person look comfortable? Do they look uncomfortable? Do I feel that I can act, or do I need to have other people come up? What if like you said, what if somebody comes up to me and they say, hey, this happened to me. What are you going to do about it? With this training, you learn exactly what to do, and you learn if somebody did X, Y, and Z, you can do A, B, and C.
Yeah. So how's that program worked here at Touchstone? Have you had to like actually implement these?
Luckily, no. You know, we keep a close eye, but we've been a pretty casual environment for the most part. The bulk of our interactions, well, with the Weave training is explaining what that sign means at our bar and saying, yeah, we went through this training to kind of be able to keep a better eye on things and to make people feel safe, or to help people feel safe, rather. Can't make anyone do anything. But no, we've fortunately have not had to intervene with anything serious. And I'm sure that's not yet.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately. But I think it also is a bit of a deterrent for people who maybe have like a predatory lifestyle where like, oh, people are watching. Like they know the behaviors that I'm probably going to exhibit here.
It's up
Boop, boop. Yep, right on time.
up until right now, I considered it of we're watching out for people, but that, for lack of a better term, that creep, it's like a lock on a bicycle, right? If they want the bike, they're going to take the bike, but you hope that they move along and go somewhere else if they know staff's keeping an eye on things.
Well, if I may say, you saying like you look out for the creep, and yes, always look out for that person that seems shady. But something that I often talk about is that, and I explain through like statistics and examples, but oftentimes it's 4 out of 5 survivors of sexual violence know the perpetrator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is somebody that they went on a date with, it's a friend, family. And so, yes, people know to look out for that creepy person. But really, it's also the people that they came with.
Yeah.
Or they flirted with,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. You have to like look for those cues where somebody is uncomfortable with the person that they're there with, even though they came in together.
Exactly.
And 100%.
Yeah.
And I think we still qualify those people as creeps, but yeah, I think there's this idea that it's a stranger, which is not usually the case.
Right. Yeah. No.
And I think a lot of people have a problem with that understanding. I think because it
this
makes
sort of danger in disguise.
Yeah, because I think it makes people question, how well do I know these people that I've been trusting myself and others to?
Yeah.
And I think people don't want to like face that reality sometimes.
Well, and I think that it's also like everybody as a kid learns stranger danger. Like you look out for the stranger, and then we're taught to just. I don't want to say blindly trust, but like, it's a family member, you trust that person.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that you can't trust a family member or a friend.
Most of the time you can.
Most of the time you can.
But sometimes you can't.
Sometimes you can't. And that's what the training is, looking for those cues and those warning signs of, okay, so, you see 2 people, they started off flirting, but then what happens if you see a person, they start to nervously laugh and back away, and then, it starts to shift. And I often tell people, like, you can feel that energy shift.
Yeah, you can. And you can feel the body language shifts and stuff.
And another thing, too, that I feel people think is tricky about alcohol being served is that, like, oh, well, everybody's, they're both drunk, so nothing wrong could have happened. And it's like, this ain't math. 2 negatives don't make it a positive. Yeah. And there's also something called rejection violence, which is where somebody feels that if they don't go along with something, if they don't agree to something, that the resulting violence could be much worse than
the action.
Yeah. And that's something we talk about too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's not always an easy conversation, but I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously, if you're listening to this and you are in the industry and you don't have any of this kind of training, just reach out to Weave or other similar. Why can't I remember words today?
It's all good. You can reach out to any sort of local center that helps with survivors, but our website's very easy to navigate. You can go to weaveinc.org and you just type in Safe Night Out, or you just look up, get
just
information.
Google Safe Night Out?
You could, but like if you go to weaveinc.org, Safe Night Out's like right there, and then you can email and be like, hey, I'd like a presentation. Yeah.
I had a great way to tie this all back into beer, and we were going to have a great time. And I've forgotten it because this is just who I am today. There's days where I'm on my game and there's days I'm off my game. And I feel like today might be an off the game day.
Well, I think a way to tie it back in is that when you go to a brewery, when you go to a bar, you go to a club, what do you go to do?
Have a
fun.
good time.
Yeah. Have a good time. You go, you have a delicious drink that was generously provided by Touchstone Brewing.
Yeah. Maybe a cherry goza.
Yeah, delicious cherry goza. It is actually
bright,
very good.
Vibrant. A little bit salty, just the way I like it.
Yeah.
Could be a little bit more, but I'm not going to be picking hairs on this one.
Yeah.
I think, because cherry's got a very overwhelming flavor, so I think no matter how much salt you put in there.
So close your eyes and smell it, though. You'll pick up more lemon than cherry.
Yeah.
And you don't get a lot of lemon on the flavor other than the acidity, but
it boosts that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I like that beer a lot.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a one-off beer, and here it is, batch 9, I think of it.
People are demanding
Sorry, people
the
like your
Gosa.
beer.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate for
Yeah,
you.
what a bummer, right?
People enjoy what I make.
Ugh.
Ugh.
I just want to do this and be done with it. They just keep asking for more of it.
I thought it was just a hobby.
One beer, we're done. Get out of here. Put all this effort in to brew once and then move on.
Yeah. It's got electrolytes. People need those back in their body after they work out, right?
Stuff plants crave.
Yeah.
The stuff climbers crave.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it, though, it's a delicious plant-based beverage. It's very healthy
is.
for you.
It
Yeah.
is.
You know, I heard you make vegan beer. Now, is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't use gelatin for any findings in ours.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are there beers that are not vegan?
So
there's
a point in the brewing process where you would add something called a fining
Okay.
that helps clarify the beer.
Oh, okay.
Gets solid material out of it, some residual yeast and stuff, and makes it come out nice and shiny. I have no idea what the percentage of people is. I don't know personally. I'm not positive of anyone that still uses it.
Yeah.
But gelatin was very commonly used for that, and gelatin, as we
Oh.
know, is ground up horse hooves or pig hooves or something.
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, some byproduct.
Hoof,
yeah.
cartilage, and sinew.
Just
Yeah.
brought down into a beautiful, beautiful gelatinous mass. Just unrecognizable.
Grandma's Jello mold. with
Yeah.
little
And then you
bits of
cut it
cat
into
food
pieces
in
and you shake it up and sluck it down.
we use findings, but not gelatin.
Yeah.
Also, all of our beers, everything we put out here is gluten reduced. We use an enzyme that basically eradicates gluten content in a beer. You can never call it gluten free because it is
Gonna have some.
it is going to have trace amounts.
Yeah.
But it is below the threshold of what is considered gluten free. But because all the ingredients originally contain
Yeah.
gluten.
Well, and
Yeah.
wouldn't you also need to have like a special certification for it to be like gluten free, like your facility?
Probably, yeah. Same as
Uh.
like an organic certification. You know,
Yeah.
I think that we have had a lot of folk come through here that have gluten intolerances of varying degrees,
Yeah.
and we've had a lot of positive feedback.
That's awesome.
No issues. I think if you're someone with very sensitive celiac disease, maybe it's still best to avoid.
hmm
I am not
I don't know
able
your.
to discern
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
when we get this pub open, though, we'll have a guest cider on tap. We're gonna have wine.
Yeah.
Hopefully, also on tap. So.
So really, you've just created a beer for the people.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, Layback Lager was my beer for the people. It's my go-to lager. I love this beer. I drink it every day. It's my goal to have this as a nice, inexpensive draft beer, but it's my daily driver if I need it to be.
There we go.
I love it.
Speaking of daily drivers, you're also working on another thing. You have it, but it's not on tap. To the non-alcoholic
Oh yeah. I'm like, wait a
beer you
minute.
have.
What day is it again? Yeah, we have a non-alcoholic beer. The first two iterations of it we called a low alcohol.
Yes, I remember.
because it was 0.75%.
Yep.
And we whittled it down to 0.5%, 0.48 if we get really
Look at
into
that.
it. So now it is a true non-alcoholic beer. I don't have any expensive filtration. I scienced it a little bit with some help from some smarter people. I think, as I was complaining about session IPAs, it is a little bit thin, but I think you need that body. Comes with the body of the beer comes alcohol generally.
hmm
But we dry hop it with Citra, so it's kind of in a nice mellow pale ale family of beers, and we've been selling out of it every batch
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I know we talked about this just before as well.
Yeah.
The non-alcoholic beer world. I have found, like you mentioned, the malt it has a sugar, which creates the alcohol. So you've got to kind of get rid of that body a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I always find that, like, a darker beer or like a more malt heavy beer doesn't really do as well with the alcohol-free version.
Yeah, like every non-alcoholic beer that I
It's a stout or a
personally,
porter. You're just like,
yeah, everything that I've had is usually like some sort of lager, very light beers, because I think it's just easier comparatively. Because
Ours is technically an ale, but it's fairly light. If you were to size it up in color, it'd probably match up with a classic pale ale, like a little bit of an amberish color to it, but mostly yellow.
that sounds delicious.
And it's been moving great. My wife was drinking some of it while she was pregnant with our child, and we move a fair bit. It's still a tasty beer. You have a couple beers with your friends, and you want to have a couple more, but you don't want to deal with a hangover, or you can't leave your car. You didn't Uber here.
yeah,
It's a pretty solid alternative. We sell it for only $2 a can.
yeah, nothing.
I never, because we're pretty limited with draft space here until we get the restaurant done. I never kegged it, never put it on draft, because it seemed like maybe not.
You're taking
quite
up one of
selling
6
well.
taps, 5 taps.
Exactly. 6 right now.
Yeah.
But I kegged a single keg of it for dry January, and the Sackyard asked for it. So I was like, okay, well, I won't put it on tap.
Yep.
Well,
Nice.
Bye.
should have done more. And they said it moved really well.
Nice.
I mean, granted, that is a special month for a lot of folks to not drink. And for a lot of us, you still need to be social. And maybe it's a societal issue, but it's still hard to sit around people having beers with a glass of water. It is to me. I don't know. Maybe that's not fair assessment, but having a can of something, a non-alcoholic beer, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that I would order one, but I've had a whole bunch of ours.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with the beer, so it's
Yeah.
important.
And it is a societal thing, but we'll get there one day.
Well, yeah. I mean, I went to probably a heavy party school college, and that I've been my fair share of binge drinking and going too far and doing things. But I guess that with drugs and alcohol being the backbone of your partying days, when you get started doing that, then it kind of ruins it for the rest of you. But yeah, I don't know. It's nice to sit and have a beer and chat with your friends, knowing you're not putting a big impact on your body necessarily. There's zero risk of hangover, and you're not going to feel like crap later.
Yeah. All the worlds. And you get a beer flavor in you.
Yeah.
What a lovely day.
And for me, I personally don't do dry January. I'm a brewer. That might be a little odd, but at the same time, more power to you if you do.
Yeah.
But I'll certainly cut myself off,
Yeah.
even though I want to have another beer, and then grab the non-alcoholic, and there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, pick your spots.
You still quench that I want a beer feeling
Yeah.
without adding to your intoxication or your...
Yeah, because the old trick would be you'd start on the big beers and you'd get a lower ABV beer through the night. So you're like, I'm just going to work it off.
This is a Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. I'm going to have 2 of them.
Yes.
And I'm not going to chug them this time.
I'm
First
going to
of all,
have
it's
that
only
40, and it's just one beer.
It's just one.
It's only 12 ounces. It's a Coors Banquet. It's fine.
What? It's going to be fine. I'll be less drunk than I was when I started drinking them.
Yes.
So that's math for
there
you.
we go.
Out there. I remember that lifestyle.
It's the 2 negatives that make a positive.
Yeah, even though in math, that's when you add 2 negatives, it stays negative. You have to multiply. So really, you should be stacking these beers on each other.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
These, by the way, these glasses do not stack well. They break too easily. Please don't stack them.
Okay, I won't.
They are beautiful glasses.
Thank you.
They don't look like they would do too well to stack. So.
No, and it's funny. I went through
So
a bunch
storage
of
is also kind of a bear then.
Yeah, but you know what? You shouldn't be stacking glass no matter where you work.
No, you shouldn't.
It kind of scratches the inside of the glass. Then you'll see when the bubbles heavily stick to one spot. That's because there's either a not clean glass or there's an imperfection or a scratch in the glass.
Yep.
And for those of us that nitpick our beers, it flattens it out.
Yeah.
Because it causes more bubbles to fizz through.
Yeah. Oh boy, the day I learned that, I was like, I judged so many bars so harshly, and I'm like, you know what? We're all just getting by.
Yeah.
But just to I don't like when I go to a beer bar that does it, or when I go. There's this one beer bar that froze their glass. I'm like, you are a beer bar. You cannot do this.
No.
I'm paying $13 for this beer.
Like, what is this, 2003 when we had those, plastic freeze mugs?
Yeah.
I don't even want to go down this road.
Yeah.
Because
he loves freezing his glasses. Ryan still freezes his glasses.
I most certainly do not. But the bars where they have that ice thing that you set your glass, I'm like, dude, it's like a half-inch thick of glass.
No, it's just for show. It's just for show. I thought you were gonna, because there's one in Oregon that does the same thing.
It's silly.
But it has a Zamboni that'll come by.
Okay,
and
that's kind of cool though.
What?
Actually.
But
all right, never mind. I take it all back. That's cool.
That's
I'm doing
cool.
It now.
But it's like they know it's just for show.
Yeah.
And I feel like knows it's just for show as well because
probably
you're sticking these giant. They're like, here's a tulip glass on this piece of ice.
keep your white wine cold with this full stem.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like it's cool if you're into that. And nobody is. So.
There's a liquor store in Tahoe that I used to buy kegs from when we were going up there a lot and snowboard a lot, and they claimed to have the coldest beer in town. I'm like, great, your Keystone Light is 31 degrees. It's still Keystone Light.
Yeah.
I would watch a football game with some fantasy football people who went to Twix and the coldest beer in town. It's ice cold. There are little chunks of ice in the beer. I'm like, this is
That ruins the beer.
trash.
Yeah.
Oh, great! I have a watered down beer. Thank you so much. Oh, it's old. Cool.
Perfect.
Old keg too. God, what a experience this is.
Beechwood aged and then ice aged.
Yeah. Oh God.
Bud Light Platinum.
Yeah. I mean, look, give me an ice buck and I will drink it, but don't do this.
Yeah.
I need that ice
Well,
in there.
does that bring
beforehand.
us down the road of slushy beers?
I mean, if you want to bring it down there, how
No,
do you?
I've literally never had one.
Never had one.
No.
No,
I-
I've had like slushy cocktails, and
Yeah.
that's just like it's all right.
There's
Yeah.
a place where I grew up loving. So when I was a kid, the farthest we were allowed to ride our bikes per parents was 7-Eleven, and I drank a fuckload of Slurpees,
Oh yeah,
mixing Coke and cherry all the time. Cherry Coke Slurpee was my
Oh,
jam.
that's a
and
classic.
cherry Coke is the best
Still-
one.
Yeah.
I still love them. I still love
Yeah,
them.
I get one once in a while.
But-
And I'm like, it's too much sugar.
but I don't drink.
also-
I don't drink blended margaritas. I drink a margarita on the rocks
Okay.
instead of blended.
Oh yeah, because that's how they were traditionally served.
And I suppose if I was on a beach somewhere where it's really hot, I might eat the Slurpee version of it. But
Yeah, I think that's a youth thing.
maybe.
The
But I
blended.
think those beer Slurpee things actually sell like crazy.
They do.
Well, I
I-
feel
I-
like it's very transitional. Like you just turned 21 and you're legally allowed to buy alcohol. Have something that reminds you of your youth that was only like 3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
like
you're not
flavored
quite ready.
vapes.
Yeah, it's like because they're always pushing like a fruit forward IPA. Like, well, what if we just gave you straight up fruit and then there's beer mixed in there?
Yeah.
Ah.
And it's like, well, that's not what I
Oh,
want.
that makes me think
So-
of like the moonshine, where it's like the moonshine with the cherries and stuff in them.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we brew a Hefeweizen, we'll serve it with an actual banana in the glass. Maybe.
perfect.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
Why not?
I don't. It might
You
be
think
excessive.
Why?
No one drinks Hefeweizens anymore.
Oh, that's
Well,
true.
Well, just do like one slice, like the way that they serve Blue Moon with the
With
wedge
the-
of
with the
orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do it
Shock
with
top.
banana.
Yeah, you could also just stick some clove in there. Just,
There you
just
go.
clove, or like an actual clove cigarette. Just put it right next to it.
There you
Boom.
go.
Right there.
I was
pure
I was a
flavor.
pack a day cigarette smoker for a lot of years. I got to stay away from that.
Oh,
It's
boy.
it's disgusting now.
Gross.
Yeah.
We're a smoke free property. This whole even the parking lot keep your
Those
cigarettes.
for health nuts.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's right next to a gym.
Yeah.
You'll still people come out of
Oh,
their
yeah.
car with a cloud of smoke, hotboxing their car, and going to go climbing. But whatever.
Well, combined, we smoked an average amount of cigarettes. 0 in my life.
Nice, good for you.
Yeah, because I was real big on giving in to peer pressure because nobody ever tried to make me smoke, but teachers tried to make me
But you
not
threw
smoke.
beer cans out of your car while you
That
were
was not
driving
me.
in high school.
That was not me. I didn't even get my license till I was 20.
Sorry, throwing beer cans out of your friend's
So you
car.
were the passenger, and you were throwing it
I
out
also
there.
didn't drink till I was like 23. Such a oh god, what a different person young me was.
Oh, that's all right. Are you gonna sing "If I Could Turn Back Time"?
I would be like, man, you really ruined youth for yourself. I like to joke that if anybody saw me from my high school doing things, they're like, it's like, oh, where's Ben Rice now? And they're like, oh, he's overdoing this. Like, no, that's a different Ben Rice. The Ben Rice we know is dead. Like, there's no way I'm doing any of the things that I do.
Oh,
It's very uncool.
I was in
Very
early.
much not a talker.
I was in early college during the heyday of the late '90s rave scene in Southern California. So
oof.
Nice.
there were some brain cells sacrificed back then. But
To the altar of cool.
well, I was a DJ back then too, so I played at raves and we'd be up all night and doing wild shit. But I was also a pseudo athlete in my college, so I had to keep grades and I went to class. And none of my friends finished college, but I graduated
Look
You
at
were just living the dream.
with like a solid B average.
Dope.
I like to joke that C's get degrees, but I think I finished with like a 3.2. Not
Yeah.
bad.
Not
Ah.
bad.
Yeah.
College is tough. Drop
It
out.
is. Oh,
It was
I-
easy for me back then, but
Hmm.
I think it's changed a lot. And I was also, I don't know, just maybe it was the programs I was in. It just felt easy to me.
Well, I'll tell you what. I went to college during the time, like my first year of college was not in the pandemic, and then the rest of it pandemic. It was a rough ride. Like, in the back of my head, I was like, I'm paying thousands of dollars to sit through a Zoom session. When I could just go onto those where it's like the master class and
Yeah.
it's like $10 a month.
Yeah.
But then I was also like,
But you get a piece of paper at the end.
I do. I have a fancy piece of paper. It's got its own little folder and everything. It's nice.
So, for some perspective, my first ever email address was my college email.
Wow.
Because email wasn't popular
Oh.
when I was in high school.
Yeah.
No one had it. This was still during the days of America Online mailing
Yeah.
USCD.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the way I mean, we've all changed over the years, but there is no way I would have passed a single class if it was on Zoom. No chance. I do not sit still well at all. And I didn't even have a computer till halfway through college.
Yeah.
No.
We went to the dorms. We went to it. We had a computer room downstairs. And then there was computers in the
Do people
library.
have like the Mac computers, the one that's like the big colored
the
ones?
iMac.
that might have been around. Yeah, I started college in
Yeah,
1998.
yeah. Because iMac I think was 99,
Yeah,
Okay.
so then I was around.
maybe 2000 though. Zoolander made it huge. That's what I remember.
The
Oh,
files
okay.
are inside the computer. Yeah.
Which was 2001. That was 2001.
Okay.
So maybe
This
2000.
is some quick trivia you knew.
Oh, it's because I remember seeing that movie after coming back from my job as a fisherman in 2001 because I was delayed coming back because of 9/11.
Oh gosh.
That's how I remember.
Can
Can you tie to 9/11? I can. Let me tell you how.
Zoolander 9/11.
Yeah.
What a vicious time for Ben Stiller.
Oh my gosh.
Still one of the classics though. I quote
Yeah.
that movie like almost
Oh,
daily.
it's so good. It holds up. I never watched Zoolander 2, but I think
Zoolander, like it has a comeback right now on TikTok. It's become a sound where it's like, "Excuse me, brah."
I'm not your bra.
Yeah, that's like the whole trend right now is just like that bit of sound.
Yeah. It's just like bell bottoms coming back. You're just like 20 years later, they're back again.
Yeah,
Just
but hey,
everything's
I'm literally wearing fat etnies right now too.
nice. Culture is cyclical. 20 years. Just wait. It'll be back.
I probably never took them off in the last 20
Yeah.
years.
I
Which
know.
means that you'll always be relevant, no matter how old you are.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure,
Something
my
you
kids will
do.
think that way too.
Yeah.
I saw an Instagram thing going around. Some little girl showing her mom fans. No, these are popular now. They're a new shoe. Honey, I was wearing them
Yeah.
when I was in high school. She's like, no, mom, they're new. These are classic checkerboard Vans.
Yeah.
slip-ons. It's like,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on, dude.
Yeah. It's nuts. Oh man, everything's the same all the time. Nothing changes. It's
I would
fine.
just wish I still had some of my Jinkos.
Oh, but those
Oh
have
my
not come
gosh.
back.
Some of it has.
Okay, yeah, I've seen. Okay,
Because there are people that like they make it their whole persona to like dress up very like now it's vintage to be 90s. Sorry for the heartbreak, but
Mhm.
like Jinko jeans, just like that whole style. The
wallet
the-
chain.
yeah, like all that kind of stuff is making a comeback.
I had a pair of Jinko jeans that I could fit a 40 in each back pocket and a 40 in each front pocket, so just walk around with 4 of them.
Yeah.
You're not sneaking in anywhere like
Yeah.
that, but it was just a fun novelty
Yeah.
item that they were completely
Yeah.
under my hoodie.
Now, do you think that zip-off jeans will ever come back, where you zip them off into shorts?
Oh, in the backpacking community, I think those never died.
They have
Oh, that's
never died.
true.
Yeah.
I'm an avid hiker.
Cargo
and
jorts also. Still
all
around.
that stuff
Yeah.
has never died. It's as popular as ever.
But that's for like a use. Do you think if you just walk in the streets?
And it
I don't
gets
know,
too
like-
warm for
and like
them,
that-
and they're like, "Whew,
Breakaway tracksuits too. Oh man,
gosh."
It's good. Okay, so basically, I'm still right. It all just comes back.
Comes
no matter
around.
what
Yeah,
you do. It's
yeah.
just
LL
gonna
Cool
be
J
there.
is gonna be cool again one day. I don't think so.
No.
He was on NCIS LA. He's always cool.
Is he? Okay.
True.
All right.
He
Fair
was
enough. I don't
great
watch.
on
I don't
Any
watch
Given Sunday.
TV very much. I
I-
have one, but I don't really use it.
The only reason why I know that fact is because my mom and my dad love NCIS, and they watch that show all the time.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just put it out here. LL Cool J, one of the best rapper actors. I don't think I have a project of his that I'm like, it's bad.
Huh.
Everybody has like one, like, ooh, that wasn't great.
What about Ice Cube?
No, he's got a lot of bad stuff.
But isn't it just so bad it's good?
No,
Okay.
he's done a lot of bad stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, Ice-T is pretty bad too.
Ice-T's-
I don't have a good
Ice-T's
argument. damn it.
Ice-T is so bad he's good. Ice-T
Yeah,
is
yeah.
always so bad he's good.
That's true. Like him on Law and
He's
Order
like-
SVU.
yeah.
Like he's the backbone of that show, and
Yeah.
he should not. He's the person that shouldn't be the backbone of that show.
Yeah, because he's the worst. But it's
Wasn't
like,
Vanilla Ice on a show? He was like a home improvement person
Yeah,
or something?
yeah, he's
House
had a-
flipper or something wild?
so
He
many
had like, it was
careers.
HGTV. He had a whole show.
He had a cameo in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. Ruined the whole movie. Ninja rap. The rap is ninja rap.
Go Ninja, go
Oh yeah, I
Ninja,
forgot about Go Ninja Go. Yeah.
Oh
Good
my
point.
gosh. He made his whole career stealing the bass riff off of Queen, though.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There's an next.
Every time Under Pressure comes on, I get upset that it's not Vanilla Ice though.
You prefer Ice Ice Baby?
No, it's just been too long. Like,
Oh.
oh yeah, here we go.
It's true.
It's also like when I hear bells ring and it's always AC/DC, and I hate AC/DC.
Oh.
Just give me the Metallica song once, just once. And
No.
I'm not even a giant fan of
Metallica. You're just like I
Mid-Metallica.
just want the other one
just.
because you
For
got
whom
that
the bells
Queen
tolls
Renaissance is
Yeah.
always happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't dislike Queen.
No.
I think it's a great band.
I
but
think
I just.
I could-
Queen has a special place in my
Plus,
heart.
I think Under Pressure wasn't that Bowie song that Queen
was-
started
yeah,
on?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. I guess I don't know who wrote it.
Well, it's on Queen's album, and I think it featured David Bowie.
Okay, so then it was a Queen song that Bowie was on.
I'm pretty sure, but like obviously this is just me pulling facts out myself that I don't know if I know.
If you sell it right, then it's right, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Fun pop culture trivia for you. You know the song Africa by Toto?
Of course I do.
Of course you do. Do you know Toto was Michael Jackson's backing band?
I did not know that.
Really?
So all those albums from the 80s, that was their music.
No shit.
No wonder Toto's so catchy.
Yeah. They know what the fuck they're doing.
I love Rosanna.
Yeah.
Rosanna.
Yeah, it's them the whole time.
That is wild.
It's wild because like Toto had one hit. Like, nah, they had like 77 hits.
Yeah.
You just didn't know it was them.
Huh.
Well, I can at least name like 3 off of the back of my hand, and don't ask me.
When I wake up in the morning is see you rise, Rosanna. There's a woman that worked at the front desk of the gym for a long time, and her dog's name was Rosie. And I just always called her Rosanna just because of the Toto song.
Nice.
She was like 20 years younger than me and had no idea what song I was talking about.
I have no idea. I'm like, I don't know.
You don't know that song?
No.
Oh, it's a Toto classic.
Yeah.
No, there's only one Toto classic. It's Africa. Nobody else knows any other songs.
For the person that knows the Toto fact, you don't know the
I don't know
song.
anything about Toto. Yeah, no. It's just a weird thing. I'm like, that's weird, but it's not actually that weird. There's a lot of one-hit wonders wrote songs for other people for years.
Oh,
is
yeah.
the point.
Well, it's
Anyway.
like Carole King. She wrote all of those classics, and then when she came out with the album where
Tapestry.
she sang all of her, when she sang all of her
Bangers.
own songs,
Bangers.
people thought that she stole them.
Yeah. Bangers. Whole album.
Yeah.
Tapestry.
Carole
Check
King
it out.
is king.
Yeah. Crushing.
Yeah.
All right. It's been 50 years, so we got to wait 10 more years for another Carole King renaissance.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
anyway, we've gone too far. We've gone too long. You've all been wonderful. Jess, where can people find out more about Weave?
So you can find us at Weave Inc. on weaveinc.org. That's our website. Weave Inc. on Instagram. We also have a Twitter that we don't really use,
Nobody
but
does.
it's the same handle, Weave Inc.
Consistency.
Yeah, and you're going to be able to find us on. It's also going to have our support line number. That's a 24/7 support line. So if somebody needs help, support, resources, or anything that we can offer to help them, you'll be able to find it there.
Absolutely. And Ryan.
We are
You'll find-
at Touchstone Brewing Company on Instagram. We have a Facebook page. I think my dad comments on it from time to time. And we do not, as far as I know, have a Twitter. I'm not really sure. I've never been on Twitter. I think that's okay.
Fine.
My MySpace has the coolest music.
Yep.
Um,
Bangers.
and
Yeah.
Friendster may have been deleted.
Sad.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah.
Well, come visit us. We share a parking lot with the Pipeworks Climbing Gym. It's a very vibrant climbing community. It
Yeah.
also loves to come out and have beers after climbing. Hopefully this restaurant's done by summer. I can't put a date on it yet. We got a lot to do yet, but all the major heavy lifting is done. You can buy beer to go out of the gym.
Oh, wow.
So
You don't have to stop in here.
bright and early. Yeah.
You're getting their money one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so we have a loose rule guideline. I don't know what the right word is for it, but if I'm here, I'll sell you a beer. We're technically open Wednesday through Friday. We're adding Saturdays starting in March, which we're adding Saturdays. We already are open Saturdays because the podcast is not going to be done this month, edited this month, right?
Nope.
It's going to be 4 months minimum. That's
3
the bar.
weeks.
That's the bar.
3
But-
weeks.
So we're open on Saturdays as well.
Perfect.
There we go.
There's a restaurant already built, already established. Our specials this week are as follows.
There's so many people here. They're enjoying the restaurant.
20 taps, 2 wine, 1 guest cider / kombucha.
What kind of food is your focus?
Like hearty snacks and sandwiches.
Okay.
Like the new American classics.
Yeah, that sounds good. Steak and eggs.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
Perfect for a climber.
We're trying to keep it relatively healthy without being health food. You're not gonna be able to get. You'll get something more substantial than a salad, but it's not gonna be overly greasy,
Nice.
crazy stuff. I think our folks, there'll always be vegan and vegetarian options. I think that's important.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Our beers will always be gluten reduced, close to gluten free. We'll always have non-beer options. With the restaurant, we're allowed to have guest taps, which would be like a cider or a hard kombucha. or both, and wine. No liquor. I think that's important.
Yeah.
I don't want that anyway.
Yeah,
so.
it's a different animal.
Yeah.
You bring it in.
And every beer you drink here, we can on site.
Yeah.
Really happy with everything we're putting out.
Yeah, me too. Very delicious every time. And then any events coming up? Anything?
We have a big 3-day charity event in early March. It's called March of the Paws. You come in. There's going to be a vendor fair for pet stuff, mostly dogs, but I think it's all pets. Yeah.
All footed animals.
Yes, I have a cat and a dog.
Bring your geckos.
Yes, sure, why not? A little reptile exhibit. But yeah, there'll be a vendor fair and a lot of special things going on. We're doing a special beer release for it. I believe that on Saturday, I don't think it's every day, but I believe on Saturday we'll have adoptable dogs here from Front Street. So
Nice.
should be fun. Come play with them, come adopt them, or bring your friends that are looking for dogs.
And if this comes out later, come back next year or in 6 months or whenever the next one is.
And we're very dog friendly here anyway. We have water bowls for the little paros. We make our pub manager makes dog treats out of our grain.
Nice.
Those are all free. Just coming down.
Just if you need one, just ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're hungry,
You probably offer.
if your dog wants one, or if you want one, whatever's clever. Yeah. And I also want to stress that we're trying to be family friendly as much as possible. I put a changing room in the men's restroom.
Thank
a
you.
changing table. Rather,
Yes.
because there's nothing worse than it's your turn to change a diaper and you come back to your partner and say, I'm sorry, my restroom does not have a changing table and I'm not laying this baby on the floor of the bathroom.
Super frustrating.
We love the equity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's important.
Yeah, I get furious when I don't see one. I'm like, come on. Because I don't know about this turns to change. It's just always me.
The what?
The turn to change of diaper is like your turn.
Oh,
It's
you don't take
always
turns?
me. It's
Oh,
just me
yeah.
doing it every
Yeah.
time.
We try to take turns as best we can, but I mean, my older one is long out of diapers, which was amazing, and she actually potty trained pretty quickly, so
Nice.
that was good. The
Yeah.
second one he's only 10 months. So.
Right, not time.
I mean, he just celebrated his first birthday because this just got released.
Yeah.
His birthday's
exactly.
on April 20th. He is
Oh boy.
kind of
A 420 baby.
special holiday for him.
Yes.
Yeah, so
So his favorite color is green.
yeah, I
There
think
we go.
so.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for Barley Me, you can find Barley Me across social media at Barley and Me Pod. It's now short for Barley Me Pod-uctions because I'm doing serious stuff. Check out the new website, barleymepod.com. Now, more than just links to this podcast, you can read stuff or whatever and look at pictures and watch videos and all that jazz. It's going to be crazy. Comedy. It's on the website. You should check it out. March 15th, Crooked Lane, Lance Woods, $10, $12, Lance Woods, Crooked Lane, March 15th. That's Wednesday. That's probably 2 days after this episode releases. You should go check that out. March 30th, 7th anniversary comedy show at Tilted Mash with headliner Aaron Weaver. The rest of the lineup to be determined.
You know we do comedy shows here.
Yeah, I was to give you a chance to talk about it and you skipped it.
I skipped it.
Yeah, you did.
Did you cue it?
No, I said, do you have any events going on? And you're like, yeah, we got this pause thing.
Oh,
We're
I
gonna
forgot
talk
about that. Yeah,
Oh,
we
no.
have a comedy night once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, hosted by
$5.
Jess Harding. She's awesome. She's a good friend of mine. She's also a member of our gym.
Mhm.
It's free. Come in, come down, enjoy some comedy.
It's it first?
Well, it's this Friday, the 25th. It's almost always the last Friday of the month, but I can't say that's not concrete.
Right, because things happen.
Yeah, so it's but we always post about it. That's too soon probably for you to have on the podcast.
Yeah,
This
because
is the day after tomorrow.
right, but it'll be the incompetent. It's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. March 31st. Is that right for the next? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Just look
Yeah.
for a Friday show. Touchstone Brewing. You've found it.
Really funny stuff. And it's
Free
been a great
show.
time.
Bring money for tips, please.
And if
support.
you're on a budget, every Wednesday we have a select beer for only $5.
Boom.
Or
See,
find a $5 beer in Sacramento.
yeah,
$5. Make a
exactly. And
holler.
I think you guys are pretty low priced, generally speaking.
Yeah. Well, we might have to. So we might have to bump up a little bit once we get this restaurant open. So a little.
Recovery.
It probably could have been a whole other conversation, but we're going to be a tipless establishment. We currently
Okay.
are. With good backing, we can pay our employees more, so they don't have to rely on tips. One of the big factors that kind of ties into most of our conversation here is that I don't think that someone has to put up with a customer's bullshit in order to earn a tip. I
Yeah.
think that a lot of servers have to do that and put up with harassment or discrimination or just shitheadery in general. Is that a word? Shitheadery?
Yeah,
is
it is now.
It's in the dictionary.
I
So-
emailed Webster's or Merriam-Webster while we were right here. Like,
How's
this is
Miriam
a-
doing? I haven't seen her in a while.
She's not doing great.
She's probably 200 years old by now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is what it is. But anyway, we're gonna be tipless, and it may not work well. We'll give it a go and pay our employees more, and hope to keep people happy.
Dope.
If anything, I think the new generation is going to appreciate that more.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think that by offering healthcare and good healthcare, in fact, and a higher wage, I think we'll draw the right people. And I know there are plenty of people that want the cash at the end of the day, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think the right people.
But
Me
the fact that-
personally, having healthcare with having a kid and now a second kid.
But the fact that an employee can come to this place and work for you and not have to worry or rely on, did I have a good night so that way I can pay my bills?
Or do I have to flirt with this asshole?
Yeah. How much do I have to put up with to make sure that I'm going to be okay tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right. If someone's being an asshole to you,
You just
respond accordingly.
Yeah.
No rejection violence here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. All right, so this has been episode 171 of Barley and Me with Ryan Campagna at Touchstone Brewing and Jess Lemos at Weave Inc. Thank you guys so much.
Oh,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks so much for listening. Get home safe.